Hey guys, the last couple months has been tough in the Northeast between the loss of gas, natural gas, where I spent most of my time in upstate New York, and I think it's just very generous of the way Chris and Jerry have conducted that to pay us for 14 months.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it's not easy. And then the letters from the lawsuits that we're dealing with, and so, if you allow people to wear you out, they will wear you out. And so as I'm here today, I'm excited because we just came from an incredible 5-star trip in Scottsdale, Arizona. Have been refreshed here, get to go to Brian's ranch with a couple people, and life is good. It's amazing if you focus on the positive and focus on what Ambit can do, what you can do. And so as Brian was talking and we were watching the video last night, I was thinking about my Ambit career, my career in network marketing. It looks good when you're up on stage, but guys, it's not always fun. See, everybody sees the polished. They see it up on stage and at the events. They don't see the driving 7 hours from a meeting where nobody shows up. Or the calls where people are calling you up and cursing you out because of a customer issue. Or the frustration. And what I'm telling you is if anybody tells you that this business is easy, they're lying to you. If you're going to become a top income earner in this company, in this industry, you're going to pay a price. And so as I'm listening to Brian, and I listen to Brian talk about the circle within the circle, I got that speech from Brian 18 years ago. And it's amazing because he's talking about it today, and I realize that I've been spending a whole lot of time outside the little circle in the big circle. Listening to people complain and whine to me. And so I listened to the people last night talking about aggregation in Illinois. You know what? Get over it or quit. But before you quit, here's what you need to think about. What will your life look like if you quit? And here's why I tell you this. I got started in network marketing December 1st, 1996, almost 22 years ago. The guy that signed me up knew less about the business than I did. Got off to a great start. Within 25 days, I had 60 of my closest friends and family members on my team. Within another 30 days, my entire upline left to go start their own company. And so I had a decision to make. Do I go back to all my friends and family who bought into not only Excel, but bought into me and tell them I found something better when I didn't know if it was better? Or do I step up and try to become a leader? And see, I chose the latter. It would have been easy to quit when my upline RC, SC, and EC all quit and went to go do something else. But that was the first point where I had to make a decision. And I look back on that, and that was the best thing to happen to me. Because we did it wrong, but we did it. And we did it because we didn't have any options. If it was going to be, it was up to us. And then a couple months went by, and God bless Brian McClure. I met Brian McClure 21 years ago this June. Think about that. And I told the story at breakfast yesterday. Just happened to go pick him up, and he started mentoring me and coaching me. And we were watching The Karate Kid last night. And I remember when Ralph Macchio got a little ticked off at Mr. Miyagi. And I promise you, me and Brian have had those conversations. Where I told him I was sick and tired of painting his house, and why you, and the amazing thing is, everything he told me about this business, he's always been right. And sometimes I didn't want to admit it. And I remember the first time Brian told me about that circle, okay? We were doing an event up on Long Island, New York for Excel Communications in 2000, Brian. You remember this? And so Excel had launched a new product. They were launching cell phones. And Brian told me it's all about points of distribution. So we did this huge event. We had almost 1,000 people show up for a training. I rented out the picnic area at Shea Stadium, took everybody out to a Mets game, spent all this money to have this huge event based on all of the people on my team were going to sign up thousands and thousands of cell phones. And so Excel opens up cell phones in New York. We do this big event. Brian and another gentleman who's one of my mentors, great guy, Jimmy Dick, they do the training. My team is amped up and ready to go. We sold 3,000 cell phones. Now I go back to my house and we're having a barbecue, and one by one the phone starts ringing and ringing. They don't have numbers up here. What do you mean? Yeah, they don't have numbers in our area. So what are you trying to tell me? We can't do cell phones. Wait. We just did a big event. We've got 3,000 cell phones sold, and you don't have area codes, and they won't allow you to sell them outside the area? I remember that night at my house, I told her, I'm done. What a bunch of morons running these companies. How can they do that? I started screaming. And I remember Brian sat me down and he drew the circles. And that was the first time I had that conversation with Brian. And I remember I had to make a choice. Do I quit and go back to what I was doing, which paid me a lot of money in the ticket business, but it was dependent on the teams in the New York area winning. It was also dependent on me working 70, 80, 90 hours a week, having no life. And I know what I wanted from Excel back then. And then another test came. I remember going down to Celebration in 2001. It was the weekend of September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Big event like we have for Ambition. Announced new markets and things like that. We're all excited. You know how you feel after Ambition. Fly back to New York. We're gonna crush. We're gonna have all these meetings and all these trainings. And 8 days later, 9/11 happens. And 3,000 people die in New York City. But not only that, everybody lost their long-distance phone service. Because when the towers came down, they took out all kinds of switches. And they took out all kinds of lines. And so I've got thousands of XL long-distance phone customers who have no phone service. Now, it wasn't like it was today where everybody had cell phones. And so what happened was AT&T was kind enough to start calling everybody who was on Excel, letting them know that if they would be willing to switch back to AT&T, they would get them service that afternoon. I watched 5 years of customer base disappear in 2 weeks. Try go doing a meeting in Brooklyn, in Staten Island, Manhattan, when there's firemen dead all over the place because of what happened. And we literally lost 3 or 4 months from our business. What I do? I brushed myself up and I started working again. I remember going to the next Celebration, 2002, the Celebration. Brian, remember that? I have some new leaders and new owners coming in and all excited. We're going to make a go of this. And my mentor and my best friend in the world tells me, come up to my room at lunchtime. Okay, what's up? Now, in between the big event, this Saturday, I go up to Brian's suite and I expect him to get all fired up and talk about training. And Brian tells me he's retiring. He saw something that I did in the new leadership and realized it was over. And so I had to go back downstairs and put on a happy face to my team, knowing that Brian saw it and he was done, but I couldn't. And so I kept going and going, and Brian was right. Left that company in April 2003. They went bankrupt November of 2004. Took off some time from network marketing because I just lost it. Didn't turn out the way I thought it would. Had egg all over my face. All the naysayers came back and talked about, I told you it wouldn't work. I told you what was going to happen. Even though I made good money, I made almost $1 million with that company. But I still had negative people who were trying to steal my dream. Got involved in my next company. It was great for the first 6 months, and then the owner got sick and he turned it over to attorneys. And so when Brian was coming and talking to me about Ambit, I felt guilty because I personally sponsored a bunch of new people. And when Brian came to me with that company, they were only in Texas initially. The company I was with was in all 50 states, England, Canada, and Puerto Rico. And so I took some time because I wanted to make sure that Ambit was it. See, I had a burning desire to do something positive in this industry, but I never had the right company, the right upline, the right leadership, you name it, I didn't have it. I was willing to pay a price and work hard, but I had to make sure if I was going to put everything into it, that it was the right leadership, that I had the right sponsor. And after 8 months of looking at Ambit, 2 trips to Dallas, a 3rd trip in New York City, I knew this was it. And I joined this company October 7th of 2007. And let me tell you, the first 7 years were as good as it could possibly be. And anybody who was in during those times, those were the heydays of Ambit Energy. We were making money, as Renee Harris says, hand over fist. People were coming in, but it was $455, and we were only in Texas and New York, and we didn't have